Good morning, everybody. Today is Sunday, February the 14th, and I've gotten a decent bit of stuff done to the car that I'll share with you this week, but the big thing that I want to show everybody that I'm excited about that's going to be able to benefit other people in the future who are building one of these second-gen Novas is this. This is a stainless steel 1 7/8 primary. That means the tubes here are 1 7/8 inch diameter with a 3-inch collector. This is a 1 7/8 stainless steel LS header specifically for a 67 Nova with a Detroit speed front end. I first went to the guys at Church Boys Racing because they had one of the only 1 7/8 primary headers out there, and I ordered a set of their headers, which are manufactured by the folks at Ultimate Header. A guy I've been working with over there, his name is Jim. Great people to work with. They sent me some of their headers for this car, and they didn't quite fit. They actually bumped up against the Detroit speed front end just a little bit, and more importantly, the collectors were angled down in the car. And the reason for that is the stock engine placement in these 67 Novas is not with a leveled engine. The engine sits kind of backwards and down like that right there. So when I ran off and I put their headers on the car, and I had a level engine, things didn't really fit. And so I started working with these guys at Ultimate Headers to develop this brand new header that you're going to be able to get through Church Boys Racing. And what's really, really cool about this is if you need a set of these headers, you're going to let those folks know whether or not you are running a stock engine setup where the engine is tilting back at 4 degrees, or if you're doing like I am in Project Redline, where you've got an LS that is sitting perfectly level. You tell them what you need, and they will adjust the bends right in here in order to make sure that your collector is actually level in the car. These things are some really, really sharp-looking headers. I'll bring you in closer here and show you that the weld quality on these things is absolutely fantastic. They do back purge these things with argon, so the inside of them looks good as well. They're not all, jagged and crusty looking on the inside, so should be great for flow. When I started doing my research on these things, I found that most folks out there are making their collectors with either 1 5/8 or 1 3/4 primaries. And what I found is with a big horsepower engine like the one that I've got in my car, that really was going to rob the engine of power. And that's the last thing I wanted to do was, put a header on there that just wasn't the right header for the car and run off and cost the thing, efficiency and power. Now, I will tell you that you're going to notice that I've done something rather unusual. I have welded a flex pipe onto the end of my collector. And I'll show you here in a minute. The reason I had to do that is because up underneath the car, I didn't really have the spacing for this thing anywhere else other than where it is right here. So I had to weld it in place. I actually did that myself, to be honest with you. I was pretty happy with how my stainless steel welds turned out. For somebody who doesn't know what they're doing trying to TIG weld stainless, I was pretty pleased with that. Previous attempts with the TIG were not so good. So I'm going to put a link down below in the description where you can find these things on Church Boys' website. I'm also going to go ahead and put a link in the description to Ultimate Header, which are the folks who manufacture them for Church Boys Racing. Be sure to check those guys out. They make some really, really good Nova stuff. If you're building a Nova, you'll want to have a look at what they've got. Some nice front ends as well. So anyways, let's have a look at the headers on the car and see what I'm talking about in terms of the fitment. All right, so here we are underneath the car, and you can kind of begin to see what I'm talking about, in that I really had no choice but to cut the flange off of the end of my collector and go ahead and weld my flex tube on in order to be able to use to use up this really important space right here, because if I didn't, and that flex joint was then moved over here, it would start interfering with my frame rail. So basically, just kind of is what it is. Had to move my flex joint, but not a big deal. At the end of the day, it still came out really, really nice set of headers. They're going to be able to run, as you can see there, just right below the frame rail, tucked in there really nicely. The guys did a great job of creating room right here in between my Detroit Speed subframe and the headers. So great job to the folks at Ultimate Headers. Next up, I'd like to say thank you to my friend Mr. Jimmy Moore in Olive Branch, Mississippi, for doing a little bit of work and finding out that that is the ground, and that right there is the hot to the plugs on the seat. All I did was just use a a little jump box here to supply some power to the seats, and now check it out. I got working power seats. So that was kind of a big win for me, because I was worried that maybe there was going to be some computer, you know, in the Camaro over there that I wasn't going to be able to get, you know, to operate these seats in the Nova. But now that I can see it's just nothing more than a simple power and a ground, I got power seats for the Nova, so awesome. Really excited about that. Thank you, Mr. Jimmy Moore. The next thing that I got done was I cut these little aluminum ears off of my, two of these things, off of my air conditioning compressor here from the folks at Vintage Air. Had a couple of these ears that you see right here that were actually down on the bottom side up under here that were going to interfere with my Detroit Speed Inner fenders. So anyways, I was finally able to get the air conditioning compressor mounted up, and then from there I figured it was time to go ahead and get a measurement for the serpentine belt for the car. I found a great thing that worked like a charm for that. I just used an old piece of ratchet strap, you can see here in these pictures, wrapped it around the pulleys, worked fantastic, so it's time to go get a serpentine belt ordered for the car. Like I may have gone a little far with the whole race car theme on this one, I don't know. I picked up a steering wheel for the car, as well as an MPI Max Pappas mount right here that hooks onto the roll cage. And here's the steering wheel that I have selected for the car. It is a racing steering wheel of what is a steering wheel. Quick disconnect, so you pull it right off, take it with you so nobody can steal the car, as well as makes it a little bit easier to get up underneath the dash, you know, and do work under there when you can get the steering wheel out of the way. So really cool looking steering wheel. It's a lot smaller in diameter than I thought it was going to be. I'm not 100% sure that I'm going to like it after I start driving it, but looks cool as hell. I decided to go with this fuel cell because it almost perfectly fit the width of my frame rails, and it is only 7 inches deep, so it's not going to hang out the bottom of the car real far, not going to extend, you know, into the trunk and eat up all of your trunk space when you're traveling to hot rod shows and whatnot. So excited to start getting the work done in the rear with all the sheet metal to hold the fuel cell. That is all the cool stuff that I got done to the car this week. Be sure to check out Chuck's website, churchboysracing.com. Really nice folks over there. Great technical support. I found that really makes the biggest difference for me when I'm looking for new suppliers. When people just continually keep answering my stupid technical questions. Super appreciate that. Go ahead and click subscribe down below if you want to make sure that you don't miss any update videos on my Nova. I would ask, if you don't mind, please click the like button down below, the thumbs up, let YouTube know this is quality content. I appreciate you guys watching. I hope y'all enjoy this. I'll try and have something good for you next weekend. Plan on working on the exhaust. I got the mufflers and exhaust cutouts ordered last night, so hopefully next weekend I'll have some good TIG work to show you, and you know, an exhaust under the car. That's the plan anyway. I've already got my straight tubing, and that's on the chopping block for next week. Y'all have a great weekend. Take care.